Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind. That is your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, Snowfall is upon us, season 6, and we are talking about episodes 1 and 2, Fallout and the Sitdown. In this recap, I'm going to talk about what's going on with each character rather than going scene by scene. So before I get into the characters, let's talk about how the episode starts off. And that's with the little girl on her porch looking sad, right? She's sitting there looking sad. So a man comes up to her and he knows her by name. And he's like, Tisha, what's wrong? And she says, Daddy never came home last night. So next thing you know, the elderly man goes down to the warehouse site and he sees that it's a murder scene. And this is when we find out that he is Tisha's grandfather, okay? Before this, I thought he was just like the neighborhood mailman or something like that. And he just knew Tisha. But then I also went and I looked at his uniform and I saw that he wasn't a mailman after all. So he's just the grandfather coming home from work, okay? So anyway, he sees that his son is dead, all right, along with another man. And these are the two guys that Franklin killed last season before he robbed the stash. So anyway, speaking of Franklin, after seeing that elderly man crying for his son, I just got the feeling that if Franklin dies, it will be a civilian who kills him, guys. Kind of like what happened to Nino Brown, you know? So anyway, in this episode, we see Franklin making his rounds to different crews, and he's letting them know that they can cop from him now. He tells Dee that he'll do 10 a key compared to Jerome and Louis' 12 a key, and he tells Kane's people that Leon is out of the picture so he can take his place, which looks awfully strange to them because Franklin's family is the reason Kane is in this situation in the first place. So we also find out that Kane's condition has taken a turn and he had to be sedated again. So there's that. We also see that Franklin has a new stash house location and only him and V knows where it is. Franklin is clearly on a mission, guys. He wants to get his money back and he's under so much stress that he was lashing out at V in this episode. V wants him to leave the game, but he ain't trying to hear that right now, okay? All he wants to know is if she could help him or not. Because he wants her to go to Miami to deposit their dirty money into a bank. Because right now, Miami is their best bet. Because nowhere else in the U.S. is going to take a large lump sum of money to deposit, right? So anyway, V tells Franklin that he shouldn't have done this, right? Because they could have sold their properties and gotten legitimate loans. She also tells Franklin to call Jerome and Louis and make it right. But this is where he lashes out and he tells her that it's done already. You either gonna get down or lay down. It's like, I'm just playing. He didn't say that, but he might as well have, okay, with the way he was yelling at her. So, yeah, he tells V that he needs her to get on board with what comes next, right? But V is disgusted and she wants him to get her out of that stash house, especially after she sees all the coke in the next vault, okay? In this episode, we also see Franklin asking about the whereabouts of Peaches. He has a guy on the job, right? And the guy tells Franklin that there's still no proof that Peaches left the country. So Franklin tells the dude to put the word out and that he's offering $250,000 to anybody that finds Peaches. He is not playing, guys, okay? So then he tells the guy that he needs him to confirm the location of Teddy's family members, his father, ex-wife, and child. So let's move on to Teddy real quick, who throughout this episode, his mission is to find Parissa. He even goes back to Avi's mansion where he speaks with Avi's people and he lets them know that he can help find out who killed Avi so they can get revenge. But Teddy already has bad blood with this guy who is now deaf in one ear after Teddy shot his gun so close to his ear last season. So this dude has no love or respect for Teddy. And when Teddy tells him that the person that killed Avi also stole someone close to him or took someone close to him, the dude couldn't have cared any less, okay? So Teddy was lucky he wasn't killed, okay? And he leaves this little meeting with no leads at all for Parissa. We eventually see that he gets a call later on, and next thing we know, Teddy is standing in front of a holding cell looking at Parissa. And I wasn't happy at all because I don't think Teddy deserves any happiness, okay? How about that? Next, we're going to talk about Oso, who has finally returned home. But he can't talk to his girl in the house because the house is bugged. So he takes her out to a bowling alley where they could talk. He still can't answer all her questions, but he wants her to trust him. He also asks Xiomara if Teddy called or knew he was gone from the house last night. So she says, no, I didn't talk to him. So let's just cut to the chase, guys, okay? It's quite obvious that Oso has turned informant because otherwise he would not be a free man right now, okay? However, I don't fully believe that Oso is going to cooperate. I feel like he only said that to buy himself some time and get some things in order so he can escape with his family. Because, Oso is very serious about his family. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe that he's going to truly cooperate and be an informant. But he does have himself in a stressful predicament because he gets so nervous anytime Teddy wants to meet with him or when Teddy asks questions, like the time when Teddy asked him about where he was the night before. Also tells Teddy that he was in the ER with one of his sons, and then on a different day, Teddy asks for the name of the hospital. So all these questions are freaking Oso out, and remember, he knows Teddy. He knows how Teddy gets down. So he's just really nervous. And, the Fed guy, I don't remember his name, he's telling Oso that, it's not going to get easier. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that survive are the ones that cooperate. Okay. So next, let's talk about Louie and Jerome. So Louie is going over the books and she sees that Franklin got them for $3.4 million in cash and product. So to make things worse, Mac and Terry are coming from St. Louis for their pickup, and they ain't got nothing for them. So Jerome pages Franklin, but he ain't called Jerome back until later that night, right? But before we get into that phone call, Louie meets up with Teddy to tell him that she wants to re-up. So Teddy wants to know what's going on because he doesn't have time for games, right? He tells Louie that if she doesn't tell him right now, this will be the last time they meet up to do business. So she tells him that they were robbed by Franklin. She tells Teddy that someone cleared out all his accounts, so he basically used them as his life raft. So Teddy, being the root to this whole problem, easily says, okay, I'll have Gustavo give you the bricks. 300 good? So Louie says okay, and she also tells him that since Franklin also hit their cash reserve, she's going to need those bricks on consignment. So Teddy can't do nothing but take a chance on this, right? Because like I said, it's all his fault anyway. So next, Jerome goes to see Dee, and Dee tells him about Franklin's offer. He also tells Jerome that he'll still cop from him if he sells to him for 10 a key, like Franklin is doing, or else he's going to just go with Franklin, right? So Jerome tells Dee that Franklin is able to sell to him so cheap because he stole the product from him and Louie. But Dee tells Jerome the same thing he told Franklin. I ain't trying to get in the middle of no family drama. I'm just trying to get paid, right? I'm about my bread. Long story short, Dee tells Jerome that Dallas and Diamond are bringing by the keys later tonight. He tells Jerome that it ain't personal. He got to do what he got to do, So later on, while meeting V at an airplane and seeing her off, Franklin finally calls Jerome back. Jerome tells him that he wants to meet up. Franklin tells him that he never wanted things to be this way, but I went to Louie and asked for help. So Jerome was like, oh, so now you just gonna blame it all on us, right? So Franklin says, your wife went behind my back and stole the plug, and that's business. But I show up and take back what I made you, and it's theft. Franklin goes on to say, so it's business when I'm bending over, but it's personal when you getting it? Is that how that works? So Jerome says, nephew, if you don't bring back what you stole, you gonna understand how this works, little ninja. So Franklin says, if you want to come after me, that's fine. I came into this with my eyes open and they still are, ninja. Then he hangs up the phone. And Louie can hear all this because Jerome had Franklin on speakerphone, okay? So she says to Jerome, there's something else you need to know about last night. Franklin pulled a gun on me and said he was going to kill me. And she's like, and I really think he would have if Buckley didn't show up. So, daggone well, guys, her evil behind was only holding this information until the time was right. That's how I feel anyway, okay? She needed something to push Jerome fully to her side, to forsake his family and go to war with his nephew, okay? So this is the time she decides to tell Jerome. And since Louis got shot, he's been highly sensitive about her. All right. And I think she knows this. Okay. So now he's got this beastie look in his eyes, like he's ready to kill some after she done told him this situation. Okay. I swear I cannot stand Louis. Like, I used to like her. There's some things she would get on my nerves and stuff, but I used to like her. But man, not anymore, honey. Not anymore. But anyway, let's move on to the drop. Okay. Dallas and Diamond drop off the keys to D, and the exchange goes well. But they get pulled over by a few cops who were sent by Buckley. Now, I already know who this is because you already saw the scene where Buckley was talking with Jerome and Louis, and they was like, you still got people on the force, so you need to gather those people and do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And listen, when the freaking cop car pulled them over, I saw Jerome in the backseat. I saw his afro, so I already knew he was there. So we see him, right? But first we see Buckley there as well when the girls are told to get out of the car. And Jerome gets out, okay? We saw exactly what happens, guys, okay? Jerome punches Diamond square in the face and knocks her on the ground, okay? So as if this wasn't already a terrible sight to see, Jerome starts gun-butting Diamond, all right? And it doesn't matter how many times Dallas pleads for him to stop hitting Diamond, all while saying that they don't know where Franklin's stash house is. None of this mattered because Jerome kept hitting her. He finally stopped, though, after Dallas was like, please, she has a kid. We don't know. Stop hitting her. And guys, when I saw this, first of all, when he punched her, I was like, are you freaking serious? Like, Jerome, first of all, a man shouldn't be doing that to a woman, but Jerome is a very big man, okay? And then to get on top of her and do that, gun butt her like that, I just wasn't feeling it, y'all. I was not feeling it, and it turned me from Jerome. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm totally turned from him right now, but I always was thinking that whenever Jerome gets killed, I'm going to be sad about it. But all I got to do is think back to this moment right here, and child, I'll be like, you kind of got everything that was coming to you, pal, because this is some evil stuff right here, yo. It's getting so dark in this show, guys, and I am really disappointed that some people, I expect in this game that it gets dark with a lot of people, but at least somebody gonna have some type of moral code, but not this show right here, honey. Everybody dark, okay? And folks was all standing around watching this tragedy, and the cops just let it happen, okay? But I will say that Buckley, he didn't look like he was feeling that, y'all. He really did. He did not look like he was feeling that. Now, I know that I put out my little prediction last year that Jerome is probably going to snap and kill Louis because he's going to see that she's the cause of all this stuff. I feel like that is a great possibility. But after that scene, and then also watching Buckley, and then, also how Jerome treats Buckley, I wouldn't be surprised if Buckley killed his behind, I would be upset about that because I want my prediction to come through because I just want Jerome to kill Louis. I ain't gonna lie, guys. But that's really the only reason why. It's not that I want to be right. I don't mind being right, but I just really want him to kill her. I'm sorry. She's just been a lot. Okay. So anyway, guys, so before I move on to episode 2, Sissy tells Franklin that Ruben wants to meet with him, right? And when Franklin tells her that he doesn't think it's a good idea to side with the Russians and commit treason, Sissy has to tell Franklin that this country don't care about you, okay? Then she goes into her story about how she felt after those days after Alton disappeared. She let Franklin know that she realized that Teddy spared her because he felt she was no threat. So now she wants to be the nagger he didn't see coming, okay? The inconsequential nigger. And I love how she ended it with, are you with me, Saint, or are you with them? I love this because it was a reminder of who he is, right? And whose team he should be on. And that definitely moves him. And he was like, okay, let's do this, right? Okay, folks, so drop your comments down below for episode number 1. Let me know how you feel, okay? Now it's time to move on to episode number 2, and that's called The Sit Down. Now, I want to just sum up this episode as quickly as possible, so there are some parts that I'm probably not even going to talk about, but here we go. So we get to see how Parissa escaped Ruben, which is not good because she was able to see him. So now she was able to help Teddy get a sketch of him, right? Which he gave to Oso and asked him to find out who Ruben is. So let's get to Jerome and Louie. So Louie wants to know how ugly things got with Diamond, and Jerome says, I think I might have killed her. So at this point, I'm thinking, no, you didn't, because I was sure that he didn't, guys. I mean, I felt like he almost did, like, you know, but I didn't think he did. So, next scene, we got Franklin meeting up with Dallas at the hospital. And when the doctor came out, she tells Dallas that they couldn't stop the hemorrhaging in her brain. So she died. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me, yo? He really killed this lady? Wow. A freaking shame, okay? We later find out that this causes Dallas to tell Franklin that she's out the game because her and Diamond had a pact, right? That if something ever happened to either one of them, the surviving one should leave the game, take the kids, and go. So next, let's talk about the meeting between Franklin and Ruben. Franklin tells Ruben that he wants Teddy alive. And Ruben says, I can deliver that, but first I need proof that the CIA has been importing and selling cocaine in the U.S. So long story short, guys, Franklin decides to let Ruben record him as he describes his first run-in with Teddy and then some. I'm talking about the T-bone, the tasing, the waking up and, you know, in a freaking cell or dungeon, whatever the heck. Y'all know what happened, right? So after this, Sissy starts asking Franklin what he wants out of life. And when he tells her, she says, so you think you can accomplish these things by fighting with Louie and Jerome? So Franklin says that even if he wanted to, he doesn't think he could stop it. So now Sissy gets involved by paging Jerome. And when he calls her back, she invites him to dinner. During the time of the page, him and Louie were at Scully's place, and he was just telling them how much trouble they about to be in with Kane because Kane is a freaking lion and he gonna eat them up, okay? The only suggestion he had for Jerome and Louie is that they need to join the Pride. Basically, get things right with their own family and Kane before karma screws them up. And guys, I'm always loving Scully, okay? Like, for real, always loving him. So since we're talking about Kane, before this scene took place, Franklin went to see him because he got a call that he woke up. So Kane up in the freaking hospital bed looking all lined up and like somebody been cutting his hair while he been asleep. So I'm like, wow, you just look, are you the freshest dude I ever seen in the freaking hospital? But anyway, Kane gets pissed off because Franklin tells him that he doesn't know where Louie and Jerome are. So Kane tells Franklin that he needs to find out where Louie and Jerome are and Buckley, because now he done heard that he's not a cop no more, which means he could be touched, right? So find out where they are, or I'm going to start thinking that you having second thoughts, which puts you on the wrong side of this thing, okay? And you don't want to be there, all right? So next, in this episode, we also meet V's mom, Cassandra, and they were like speaking French almost the whole time when they met up with each other. And I was just like, okay, can y'all stop? Anyway, V and Franklin, they want to see if V's mom can find out who cleaned out Franklin's accounts. So when Franklin meets up with her, she tells him that only a few people could do what they did to him. And finding out who ain't going to be an easy task. So she wants a 20% finder's fee for this. So guys, I'm not about to get into their whole conversation, right? We know what happens. But I will say that Cassandra does seem to know what the heck she's talking about, okay? And she was making that food look mad good too, all right? I also want to say that I'm not getting a bad vibe from Cassandra. You know, despite what V has said about her, I'm just not feeling all that V says being true. Like, there might be some things that V has done herself. Now, during the conversation that they had, V said something like she blamed her mother for something, and she was like, I recall you being the one doing that. I guess something about going against the rules or something like that. So, you know, we got to pay attention to their dialogue. I think we might start to see certain things. So I don't know, guys. We're going to see who's who. We're going to see. All right. So after Sissy tells Jerome that she needs him and Franklin to work things out because they're the last of the tribe, him and Franklin meet up at a diner and the conversation seems to go okay. Because while Jerome told Franklin the story about how he came to LA, you can see that it was a bit touching to Franklin. You know, he seemed to be getting through to him. He's listening, right? Until Jerome insults Franklin and tells him that he wonders if it's his fault that Franklin has become a scandalous be-made ninja. So now the insults continue, and Franklin, he tells Jerome that he was going nowhere, doing nothing, waiting for his bee to come down from that sherm. So Jerome says, I'll crack your mother loving skull. But Franklin ain't stopped, you know. He tells Jerome that he tried to give him legacy, and he might have had it if he ain't let himself get played by that trick he married. So that's when Jerome boxed him one time, and Franklin says, if you ever lay a hand on me, and bop again, okay? Right across Franklin's face with the backhand. Ninja, you ain't gonna do ish. I mean, Franklin couldn't even get it out, okay? So Franklin pulls his gun on Jerome because he know he can't beat him, right? So Jerome is like, do it, you know, in all this, you know. And guys, it's just sad. Obviously, we know that Franklin did not shoot his uncle. He just screams and then he tucks his gun and he walks out of there. And I really felt when Jerome said, do it. Like, even when he was walking away, like when Franklin was walking away, he was just like, do it. I just feel like Jerome is so tired and this life has just done too much to him. Like, he's tired, y'all. And I'm really pissed at him right now. But, yo, he's tired. He's been unhappy with this life. He only in this life right now because he's just trying to watch over Louis. That's all it really is. But sometimes when folks ain't really the best for you, you need to recognize, you know. But anyway, guys, he gets up and he sees the little girl there, Tisha, at the diner. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder what that's all about. You know, him seeing her goes right back to my whole thing about civilians also joining in this whole situation and killing one of these guys, but especially Franklin. I don't know why that's what my thoughts are, but it is, right? But anyway, guys, look, it's getting dark. It's getting dark, y'all. And the fact that they played Slipping Into Darkness was perfect. Like, it's confirming for us that it's getting freaking dark. All right? I would really hope that they could come to some type of reconcile. But man, oh man, I think that it's just, I don't know. Listen, maybe the fact that Franklin put his gun away and didn't shoot his uncle, and maybe that has said something to Jerome and made him see that he's not trying to go there, right? But I don't know, because, you know, once Louis gets in his head, child, it'd be a whole nother situation. But guys, that's the video for today. Let me know what you guys thought about episode number 2. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Oh, I actually forgot to talk about the fact that also brought the sketching of Reuben to Franklin, and Franklin was like, yo, that picture is radioactive. You need to be careful who you're showing that picture to, you know, and I need you to bring me Teddy. Like, he's like, if you bring me Teddy, I'm gonna make you a rich man. I'm gonna get you 10 million, right? And so now this is really up in the ante. Like, he's pulling everybody in to get Teddy. And we know that this man also is all about his family. If all he needs to do is deliver Teddy and he get 10 mil so he could get him and his family up out of here, man, I think he definitely gonna do that. I think he definitely gonna do that, and I really hope that he does. I hope that him and his family gets the heck out of Dodge, yo, for real. We did not see my man Leon at all in episode 1 or 2. I almost thought he wasn't a part of the show anymore, but when they showed the trailer for the season, we did see him there. So, all right, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, you guys take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.